Hello everyone, this is PC Lloyd bringing you yet another game from the casting cave. I'm joined here by...
PC-Spacegoon. And over here, we see myself on the right. And down here on the left, we have fLcGallade. This is from the APL tournament week number 5. He's part of Team Fallacy, which is probably what the FLC stands for. We are on Shattered Temple.
Exactly, which is an interesting remake of Lost Temple, as we were talking about right before we started casting this. There were several major changes made between Lost Temple and Shattered Temple. Shattered Temple is a pretty decent map in my opinion. Not my favorite, but still a pretty good map. What do you think about this map and this matchup, Ben?
I do enjoy this map just in general as Protoss, and it's also pretty decent for Zerg because, I mean, in Lost Temple, you were basically forced kind of to expand into your enemy, whereas here you can expand up to your net, and then you can bust through these rocks and take this third, which we all know how good a third is for Zerg, and then you can try to take this gold, and then you can bust through these rocks, and you're all just all the top here is basically joined together, as well as all the bottom. So this can turn into a giant macro game, but it's very open in the middle, so a lot of good unit positioning can happen as well.
Exactly, I completely agree. This is a really good map. They are spawning at cross positions, so even though we do have a Zerg player, we'll probably be seeing a little bit of a longer macro game. fLcGallade asking, is this MLG? And you responding with no. The MLG version of this map does have a supply depot at the bottom, so that you cannot wall a Zerg off with pylons, which is fairly important to know if you are a Zerg.
Yeah, he might be wondering if that's what I'm going to do to him, which is probably why he dropped the early spawning pool, to be honest.
Yeah, if that happens to you once or twice, you learn to protect against it, because that can be one of those things where you don't want to lose just because there's something about the Protoss that they just decide to totally take advantage of. Which, of course, you are not that sort of player at all.
No, I don't think I've ever blocked somebody's ramp. At least not unless I was. I think I might have done it one game, but it was against Bebopcola, so I can do that. He's my teammate.
Yep, and we see the Zerg dropping his hatch, and you are just doing the natural things. Although your Cyber Core has not been dropped yet, so that's a little worrisome. It's going to be a little bit of a late Cyber Core, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue because the Zerg did opt for an earlier hatchery, which you have a probe by, but did not manage to block.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I didn't block it or if he just decided to put it down slightly off to the right. I think it may actually be farther away than it needs to be.
Yes, that is a distinct possibility. But we are seeing pretty natural play. Queen's about halfway done for the Zerg player, a little over. Your Cybercore is almost finishing, so just normal standard opening play. Nothing crazy, although on this map, at least I believe, and maybe it was Lost Temple, that a lot of Protoss favored a Forge Fast Expand on this map, but maybe that was Lost Temple.
Yeah, that was Lost Temple because the opening was a lot smaller. So basically, you could wall it off with like a forge and a gate, and then put a cannon behind it, and then Zerg could not break it really, unless they had a lot of roaches. So then you could just got a free expansion out of it. So, but that's one of the reasons why they widened this, I'm sure.
Exactly, and right now, obviously, we see you opting for the block at the top, which is always good against the Zerg player. You obviously don't want to get a Ling Rush. You could attempt to wall off this choke, but like you said, it's a lot bigger than Lost Temple. I'm sure that was a mistake a lot of players made when this map first came out. I haven't seen a lot of games played on this map other than in MLG, simply because it's not one of my favorite maps.
Right, and that's totally understandable. I mean, I enjoy this map all right, but there are, I'm sure, plenty of players that just do not
And now
like playing on it.
Exactly, I completely see what you're talking about. And obviously we see you dropping the Dark Shrine. One thing to note is that you are chrono boosting out the Warp Gate. That's always pretty important. Now you're dropping out your second and third gates.
Yeah, second, third gate going down. This decision obviously was partially made due to the fact that I saw he made the spawning pool before the second hatch, which, like I've mentioned before, means that you are less likely to be going for an early layer, which means no detection unless you drop lots of spore crawlers.
Exactly. I really like the way he's got these couple of Lings just sitting out. He's got one at the close air position to you, which isn't really doing anything, and two over by your natural and by your natural's choke, so that he can really see if you decide to ever move out to attack or move out to just take your natural.
Yeah, he definitely has both these covered, and he did get supply block there when he lost at Overlord. You really want to make sure you have that extra Overlord before you sacrifice one into your opponent's base.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a sad little misstep on his part. We do see him. He must have scouted that Dark Templar DT shrine because he is getting the Spore Crawler.
Oh, that actually is a blind. That actually is a blind spore crawler. He is just getting the one though. So, and it's not. He's not getting one in his main. He's not trying to overbuild spore crawlers, but I think he just doesn't want to lose to Dark Templar just in case.
He may have seen. He did definitely spot the Twilight Council though, so he probably, um, right?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think he saw anything. No, he has no idea.
Wow, really? Wow, that is completely blind. Well, lucky for him, he will be able to take out probably that Dark Templar uh, at his natural, and you are going to have free range, pretty much do what you want at his main.
Yeah, these two DTs slicing up that main building there. If I would have targeted the spawning pool, I may have actually stopped Link Speed from finishing, but I wanted to make sure to get rid of this hatchery before he actually picked up any form of detection.
Exactly, and you basically just took him down a base, and now he's going to not have a spawning pool, and right now he is getting a lair, smartly so. It looks like you are warping in a bunch of stalkers and zealots, and I heard something, but I guess maybe that was just my ears. You are getting blink stalkers. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that choice?
Yeah, I favor the Blink Stalker more against Zerg as a variant on this build, whereas against Terran, I get charged instantly. Because the Blink Stalkers are able to micro against Zerglings much better, and they also are pretty decent against Roaches. So it definitely does help to have them against Zerg, as opposed to the charge lots.
Yep, and now we see the DT harass just totally making its way and just destroying everything. Obviously, if you push down, you are going to be stopped by these spore crawlers, but it doesn't even matter at this point. In fact, I would have just left I would probably, and I don't know what you're going to do, but I would have just left them up, leave them up here in his main. He won't be able to do anything about it until he gets an Overseer. In fact, you could possibly even warp an Archon Con from there.
Yeah, I do believe I am just going to leave these up here. I put this one on the left-hand side so he can see partially down into the natural, and then this guy's just going to chill out on the right-hand side.
Apologize for that. So it looks like he is getting a Spire and a Roach Horn at the same time. Looks like he's going to favor some strong play. He has 3 Queens. We're going to lay these rocks. He really wants to take this high up expansion. You, on the other hand, are just expanding to your natural, just moving along as per normal, working off your 3 gates, dropping down a 4th.
Yeah, obviously he knows he needs to get this another expansion really fast, because otherwise he's just totally screwed. So he is trying to take that as fast as possible.
And we will see that drop down.
And there's a Stalker now moving to the north.
Yep, and there's the Stalker. It's always good. Stalkers are pretty good scouts. They're pretty fast, and they can also hold their own, especially once they're Blink Stalkers, because you can really get them in and out pretty easily without any risk. I mean, sure, you could send a probe, but Blink Stalker will be able to do blink in and out of places that a probe wouldn't be able to get.
Exactly. If he gets cut off by Zerglings, you can always try to blink away. Obviously, a probe would be instantly dead.
Exactly. We are going to see, looks like a bunch of Mutalisks get created and an Overseer. Looks like he's also going to try to take down these rocks at his goal.
Yeah, he's going to try to expand as much as fast as possible, to try to get back I suppose not exactly a lead, but just to be on par, you know, trying to even the game back out again.
Exactly. I'm a little surprised we don't see him trying to expand right now back to his main, because although there are DTs up here, it would be a simple matter for him to bring one of his Overseers and a Queen up there with a drone to take those out. Maybe not a Queen, but a couple of Zerglings, certainly.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting that he hasn't. I am now checking to see if he has with this DT, and now noting that he hasn't, I move back out.
Exactly, that's always a good choice. Now, we are seeing 2 Spine Crawlers get dropped. I think that's a pretty good choice in this instance. He has no idea what you're doing. He doesn't really have a very good scouting, and he doesn't really know what this build gets into. Again, this is kind of an uncommon build for Protoss, because they don't really have a very good common build. So you are seeing you getting a lot of Blink Stalker, and we're seeing level 1 upgrades.
Yeah, level 1 upgrades coming down, always useful. I mean, it helps everything out massively, except for Stalkers, who do not scale very well, but still, +1 useful.
And here
even with poor scaling.
Yep, and here we see the Mutas moving into your main. Of course, you're moving out of there pretty quickly.
Yeah, Stalker's blinking up, trying to get Yeah, they do get a Mutalisk, and that's kind of a big deal considering how little gas Zerg is able to collect right now.
Exactly, I completely agree. Now he is getting Glio Reconstitution, which is obviously going to be pretty useful to get those roaches moving around even faster. You just finished your Templar Archives, so we probably will seeing quite a few Templars warp in. In this matchup, I presume we'll probably see mainly being warped in for the Archons. Although if you do see mass roach, I wouldn't be surprised to see you maybe get Storm.
Yeah, Storm can be very useful, uh, but I probably won't end up getting it unless I see Infestors. Infestors is usually the cue off that you probably want to get Storm because then you have something you can cast back very quickly as you're getting blasted by fungal growth or neural parasites.
Yep, and nothing to, and you. It looks like the Zerg is uh double expanding, building back at his main and at the gold. So he's gonna have 4 bases, and one of them will be a gold base. He does have these 2 spine crawlers protecting that gold, so he will be up on you 2 bases.
Yes, and no, hang on a minute. He will only be up 1 base actually, but one of them is a gold because I am taking my third currently down in the right hand
Oh,
corner.
that is completely true. I almost missed that.
Yeah, it was subtle. My subtlety is unmatched.
True story. So he will be up 1 base, but you just taken that third, and he's gonna have 4 bases. He's gonna have that gold base. Um, in a matchup like this, and often in a 4 starting point matchup, you will see players take the other base, but there's a Muta's moving through the middle, and they're just gonna be able to get out of there. But there's a random stalker down here taking pot shots.
It's like, hang on, wait for me. And more stalkers being warped in at my third to deal with these Mutalisks, and
Yep, they should be able to do more than deal with that.
apparently he stopped paying attention. He is still actually controlling them, but he's decided it's okay to lose them, I guess. And I am pushing at the front as well. Bunch of stalkers, force fields going down, cutting some roaches off.
Yep, cutting those roaches off, and he's gonna have to pull back. As if we look in the army value, I mean, it's pretty close actually. You're only a little bit above him, which is probably because he took these expansions slow. He has this gold. He's not mining anything at it right now.
Yeah, it is pretty dangerous for him to do so. He is moving drones over now, so we'll see how his economy spikes. He has very few workers right now, really, to be honest. We are tied workers, and he has more bases, and he's also Zerg, which all right. He now is building some more drones. He's droning up a little.
Yep, and as far as tech, we don't see anything. Well, no, I take that back. Baneling that's almost completely done, so or completely done at this point. So we will be seeing that. We do see ventral sacks getting completed. Maybe he's going to do some drops. I do not think that he has. Oh, and now we see an engagement going to happen.
Dartboard force field there.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to get the good surround, but it looks like a lot of these stalkers are going to be able to focus down these spine crawlers and queen.
Oh, I know what was going on here with these force fields. This was, you cannot shift-click force fields for some odd reason. So I was only dropping one at a time because I was trying to shift-click them in.
Yeah, unfortunately that becomes a habit that's really easy to fall into. We do see these roaches are look like they're going to trap you in his old gold. So you are going to have to make force him push away.
I am able to force the gold to go down and then try to force back these roaches. I do have the 1-1 upgrades, and he's sitting with a +1 attack, but no armor currently.
Yep, it looks like you are going to pull back. I mean, you got your base kill, although there wasn't really much mining there. You do have an ob sitting over that base, so that's good. So you're going to have vision of that. You do have your third, and it's mining pretty nicely. You have the 2 cannons there to protect it, although they are sitting on an Artosis pylon, which is always dangerous. But we are seeing you drop more gateways. It looks like you're not exactly staying super well spent down, but like I've said, when you're building a lot of Zealots and Archons at this point in the game, it is easy to say, oh, well, he's not spent down even though when he has 2k mineral, but you really do spend that down quite quickly, especially if you're getting upgrades.
Definitely. You can dump tons of Zealots. I mean, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That you can spend 1,000 minerals in a single build cycle.
Exactly, and that factors in no money for upgrades or further expansions. So obviously having that much money as Protoss isn't that huge of a deal, especially if you're planning on taking your gold, which I would expect you to see anytime soon to start working away at these rocks.
I would not be surprised to see me do that either. He is now getting pathogen glands and infestors though, so it'll be interesting to see how this game progresses from this point on.
Exactly, it will be dangerous, especially if you get a lot of Archons, which doesn't look like you are. It looks like you're favoring um, uh, getting Storm, which you did get, and I completely missed.
Yeah, I picked up Storm. I don't know if I spotted the. I don't think I did. I'm pretty sure I just blind grabbed Storm, which is not terrible. No, I don't. I
No,
have no idea that he has infestors.
no, you blind grab Storm, but they will counter the Infestors, which will be nice. But they also, more importantly, I think you got it because you saw the amount of Roaches, and a couple of well-placed Storms against these Roaches is just going to devastate them.
This is very, very true. Checking expansions now, and actually, I'm just going to go around his army. I'm just going to take down these rocks to the north.
Although there was a scary moment there where your High Templar were in between two piles of Stalkers, and they could have been sniped very easily, especially if he had fungal growths. But luckily, you do manage to get away and break down the rocks.
Yeah, now pushing up to the north, and I believe, yep, there is now a warp prism following my army into his base.
Yep, the Warp Prism, always nice to have. Build essentially a proxy pylon anywhere. It doesn't really matter where you are, but you are going to snipe that top base. So now he's going to push in with a lot of Roaches and Infestors.
He is indeed fungling me, but there are the storms on the Infestors and the Roaches. A lot of the Infestors dying here. Baneling's going off, but really not doing any damage against the Stalkers. Killing a couple of Zealots. Archon's now being morphed. The Warp Prism is going down and pulling in a bunch of Stalkers to help reinforce this.
Yep, and that's exactly why one would bring a Warp Prism right to the battle. There's a lot of Overlords here. Well, there's a lot of Overlords, but there certainly are a lot of Roaches in this fight. You're able to get a pretty good blink micro. And there's...
And fLcGallade goes down, which does tie us up in this matchup 2-2, because Bebopcola lost a game, and then I lost a game, and then Tavo won a game, and then I won a game. So in the best of 5, we'll be going to the ace match.
That is true, and I think this was a good game. It was a really good example of if you just run in and get some bases from Zerg, if you can stay up on them, you will be able to build so many things. I mean, by the end of the game, you had 2,400 mineral. I mean, that's a lot of surplus of mineral, but of course, it's okay to have that much when you're sitting on the amount of gate that you were sitting on.
Yeah, I probably could have added more gates. I'm not sure exactly how many I had in total here. 8, 10. Yeah, just 10. I probably could have dropped 6 more gates and still been all right. And I also could have grabbed some extra bases. The Stalker was just kind of chilling.
Yeah, but it's easy to make those slip-ups, especially when you fall ahead. It's one of the more pro things to not let those and continue to take bases, and so you actually absolutely smash someone. But you did manage to take this game, and I think it was a well played, very well played game.
Yes, from both sides.
From both sides,
Gallade
yes.
definitely did his best. He was definitely tried to get those bases back, and that was really good of him. So I'm glad that he was able to play as well as he did under the circumstances.
Yep, he is definitely a very good player, and I commend him for it.
All right, this has been PC-Spacegoon.
And this has been PC Lloyd.
Peace.